3 Points of Articulation podcast. Hello, welcome to the 3 Points of Articulation podcast. I'm your host, the big tasty Jamie Wills. I always forget to say this. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow us, do whatever you need to. Just get some sort of contact going with the 3POA. I'm one of the 3POA. Let's have a look at the other two. Adam, the wrestling man. How are you?
I am good. Thank you very much.
Stuff. Yeah, you're right, sure. And Johnny Flashback, how are you doing?
How are you doing? I am doing fine. Thank you very much.
I am on the way back from work today. I listened to the first episode of the 3 Points of Articulation podcast because I had nothing else to listen to. Nothing else was released today. So I feel like I'll treat myself and listen to it. And you know that cringing thing we had at the start where Ariba, I think Johnny said at the start. So that was good. A little bit of a flashback for you. The first episode in the news. See if you can guess which figure we covered in the news. Which Chella figure do you reckon we covered?
Aldis.
It was old. It was a prototype of Nick Aldis, which we both praised Johnny for pre-ordering that because it's going to be one that's going to skyrocket in the future, was our words. Which I'm going to say you should get our crystal balls out. And also the Championship Showdown we also covered. That's how far back it was.
Well, that was interesting. I was kind of wondering how long we've been doing this now because we don't tend to do episode numbers or anything. So we've passed a year without really celebrating it. So well done us.
Yes, it's quite hard to keep it. No, I keep it on. Like we had series 1. I think we had 10 episodes in series 1 and then series 2. But now because I'm doing the bone crunching sessions, they get mixed in with the other ones. So I just sort of take 5 off. I think we're on like 34, I'd say. We'll find out.
Oh, I guess. I'll say 33.
Proper Price is Right me there, haven't you? Just got one down. Where, what would you say, Adam, if you was to hazard a guess?
33, just because you'll be wrong.
Then no one wins.
36. So take away the 4 bone crunching sessions, we've done 32 episodes.
What about the ones where we did the beginning, the 3 getting to know you ones?
Oh, we're not counting them. In that case, we're on 28 then. Well, welcome to episode 29 of the 3 Points of Articulation podcast. I won't start doing that because we'll just get lost track of ourselves. Anyway, speaking of bone crunching sessions, did you guys both watch the interview that I had with Dan?
Did. Enjoyed it. It got a lot to say. Very articulate man. Came across really well.
Overall, with this, Wills, you could see how far you could get. And yeah, it's going well. Well done.
What are you talking about? It's gone downhill since he previewed Adam the Wrestling Man in episode 2.
Why don't I remember this?
You just literally spoke about it.
The Fig Life.
Oh, that one. That wasn't the same. That's not bone crunching sessions.
It's not. It's like a prelude to it, wasn't it? But I think we got Joey. Adam Bomb was obviously quite a good get, and fingers crossed if all goes well, we've got a big one lined up for the Christmas special. So
yeah,
secret stuff.
Well, I'll tell you guys afterwards. I just don't want to jinx it, but it's quite a biggie. Well, that's some news, but let's move on to news around the figure world, shall we, boys?
Yeah.
News.
Totally devoted to news. I listened to the Grease soundtrack this week during the trips to work, in between our old episodes, of course.
Sounds like you're having an exciting week, Jamie.
It's been good. Grease, our podcast. What more could you possibly want in life? All of us.
Remember when you were speaking about episode 1, how you thought like these intros were cringeworthy with the catchphrases and stuff. You're going to look back next year and think, oh wow, why was I really singing at the beginning of segments?
Well, you're not going to run out of songs that sentences that end with the word "you." So I think I could keep it going for a good while.
I didn't even know what you were going for, to be honest, in your musical. But
totally it was totally devoted by Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newston-John.
No.
Oh yeah, speaking of Ringside Chaos that we discussed before, they released some images prior to my conversation with him. I inserted them in there, but it's good to talk about them as well. So some painted prototypes have come through. So he's got the referee with the bow tie, the pinstripe ref, the event security, and the actual security guard himself. So I sent images across to you guys to have a look through. What do you think of these hand painted prototypes, Adam?
Yeah, they look solid. They look really good. They look like they're gonna, take a bit of, knocking, setting up, things like that. They look really good, but they compared it, like they put a WWE figure in the middle, didn't they? I can't remember who it was that they put in the middle.
It was, yes.
Who was it?
Stunning Steve.
Ah, yeah. And I don't know if Steve Austin, that figure, has got a small head, but it made some of the other heads look quite big on the refs and stuff. So I'm not sure whether it was the best one to compare it to, or whether the heads need coming down a tad, maybe. But everything else looked cracking, looked really good.
Yeah, that was the critique I was going to mention, is that the heads are a little big for the body, and the body's probably a little big as well, because the referee is generally a bit smaller than the wrestlers. So I think he's already been told this on forums and stuff like that, like in terms of feedback. I know he's going to do one size fits all, which makes sense. I just think he could have made that one size fits all a little smaller to incorporate the referees. Sure, security guys were a bit bigger, but in general anyway. But but otherwise, looking good. But how's the fundraising going?
I think it's it's slowly rolling, like it's a small incline, but I had a good chat with him, and obviously he's got connections and stuff, so fingers crossed. Obviously if it doesn't meet what's needed, the target, then hopefully it gets made anyway. He said that it won't, but he said it won't with a little cheeky wink and a glint in his eye. So
yeah, you might find out that this is like vital market research. There's X amount of people that want this. Can I make it work if I order this amount and stuff like that? So even if he doesn't get that goal, he's got some knowledge, market research, where he can go from there.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of designing for Mattel, for Jazzwares, and for Boss Fight. He was saying, when I had a chat with him afterwards about the Jazzwares CM Punk figure, he's giving me a bit of detail into that. He was saying that apparently the tattoo that we discussed before, they're doing like a similar version to the CM Punk tattoos and to tattoos that people are having that they can't have for legal reasons. So the Pepsi logo is going to be one very similar to Pepsi, but just enough to not get them sued.
Right. Did Mattel try to do something similar, or did they just completely miss it out?
They had a red. Jax had a red dot, didn't they? And Mattel just had completely nothing. Right. I think he's got another tattoo on his wrist, I think, which is a computer game or something he was saying. And apparently to get around that, they had to do one similar.
Right. Oh, well, I mean, a normal person like me isn't going to notice that. I don't really pay too much attention to the tattoos, so.
No, that's the whole.
Either, so, yeah.
I think that's the whole point of them doing it. It's just it looks great, but then obviously you've got that there that you can look at if needs be. The packaging, as you said, Johnny, for these figures, very reminiscent of the BCA figures, which I was very happy with. I had a conversation with them about. Even the front of it, the back of it, they all look fantastic in my eyes. I think it's perfect to have the Ringside Chaos in this style packaging. We've never seen like a homage back to the BCA line.
I think there's a reason for that. Yeah, I just don't know if there's that much fondness for the BCA line, as much as you do, or I think people like that. And I think it does look a bit archaic, meaning it's dated. But
I think it runs the risk of being associated with the BCAs that, apart from you, people tend to find are not very good quality. So it does run that risk. I do actually like the packaging. When you say it's similar to, it's pretty much identical to the BCA packaging. But yeah, it's a risky one for me because they don't associate it with being good quality figures.
Saying that about, I don't think it's risky. I think most people that's going to be buying these figures aren't really in it for the packaging. They're more in for the actual figure, so they can use it in their videos and pictures and stuff like that.
Whereas me, I'll be in it for the both really, because I'd like to have something from everyone that I've interviewed. So I imagine I'll pick one of these bad boys up.
Why not?
Why not? Let's treat ourselves. Speaking of AEW, as we was 3 minutes ago, let's head over to the reveals that we had. It was a very strange reveal, wasn't it? Because they revealed some new images of figures and some figures that were already on the pegs at the moment, and there's just a very strange time. It was almost like this panic and just get any old crap out. It was very, very weird when they did it.
Reveal was probably not the word they should have used. Maybe something like an update, or
just an image, which is images of. Well, Ty Conti was up first, just before her big match with Britt Baker, so probably the perfect time to reveal a figure. Looks like a young Dolly Parton, bless her, doesn't she? Adam has come to you on Tay Conti.
Yeah, it's good. She's got quite a unique face anyway, so it's quite a one that they can easily replicate in a figure form. But they've done a really good job with it. I know you're taken with the back of the figure, Jamie.
It's the back of the the back of the boots are lovely.
No, but in all seriousness, she is promoting the back of the figure quite a lot herself. So I think there are going to be quite a few people that kind of buy it for the different shorter shorts look, which we haven't really had on a woman figure before.
Interesting. I don't believe I've seen the back of the figure, unfortunately.
No, don't lie. You've been Vic Reeves in it.
I've only seen it, the front of it. But I thought the head looked a little big, but maybe it was just the hair. But otherwise, yeah, bit Barbie dollish, but not bad.
Yeah, I can sort of see what you mean about the Barbie dollish. I mean, face-wise, I think the head shape-wise, it's perfect. I think there's a few features they're missing. They're too scrunched together. I think her face is a bit spaced out. You know what I mean?
There's a little something that's not quite right for me. I don't know what.
Sting is up next from the Luminaries. Luminaries?
Lumia, no, I can't remember.
I think Sting is up next from the Unmatched series, series 2. So he's the standard and also the chase. We'll cover the chases in a second. Let's concentrate on standard first. In his gold coat, I believe from his debut from the Winter Is Coming last year, I believe. Johnny, let's come to you first on Stang.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job with the likeness. I believe if they're going to call it a Luminaires or Luminaries line, it should have been a flashback type Sting, and just have this type of Sting as part of the normal line. But yeah, the figure does look good, and the chase doesn't look much different. So I suppose we can cover it right away anyway. It's just a different T-shirt, I believe.
Yeah.
They do look good. I think they've done a good job.
I'm not usually taken by Sting figures because we've discussed in the past, Jamie, about our kind of meh on Sting, especially the Crow version. But I think they've done a cracking job with this figure. I think it's pretty much perfect, identical to how his appearance is. Done a really good job on it. So it could be one that I buy, which I didn't think I'd say.
I thought they've done with that. I think they've captured the debut of Sting perfectly with the packaging as well. Because in the box, the colours on it are really nice. It reminds me a lot of when he just walked through, and I think that was like the first big moment for AEW. Sort of go, this is a big deal, basically. Well, I thought it was anyway.
I think I got spoiled for me before I seen it, so I ended up being a meh moment.
It did get spoiled. I remember that. And be crying about it. Wardlow is up next. First figure for Wardlow, needed for the MJF figure as well. It's quite a standard in a standard attire, but I think looks-wise, looks fantastic. Adam, what's come to you?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's quite a plain figure. It's going to definitely be one for people who want every single character. I don't know whether it's one for me. For me, it'll be looking at the kind of shape and the height and whether they've really captured the body type of him, which I haven't really had a look into yet. But the figure-wise, it looks like him. It's average, but hopefully they've captured the finer details.
I think it looks good when he's paused, when he's in the old muscle. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it's like in a non-pause. But it does look good in that pause. And Adam, you keep saying about, I might get this, I might not get this. What is your collection now? Because the last we knew you were collecting tag teams, and then the last time I spoke, you said, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yes, it has changed to the cards and stickers and stuff behind me, but AEW do have a card range that's in process at the moment. So, crack open a packet of that, see who's in it, get the figures. I do have an AEW ring set up. I'm just trying to clear up a bit of space for a few more display sections above me on the side here.
He's got box figures in the background, as you can.
That idea for a collection is strange, but like there's got to be nowhere to stop really. It's almost still like you nitpicking. Like what happens if you open let's just say a random Finn Balor card? Are you going to get that figure just because you got the card? So every card you're getting the figure of.
As long as they've got an averagely decent figure of it that I'm interested in, then I would get it. Don't forget, when you open up a packet of cards, you've got a choice of between 6 and 10. So I've always got a choice of what I want to put up. Because once I finish this, there'll be pretty much like 2 spaces per collection, maybe even 1 space per type of card or sticker. So I'll get a choice of the pack that I open.
Then there's just no rules. That's just basically you choosing what you want.
Well, yeah.
There's no theme, there's no rules.
The only theme is that it links in with how obsessed I was with cards and stickers in my youth and how I still quite like them now.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm not going to ask you about that ever again because I don't understand it. So we'll move on.
Move on to Santana and Ortiz. So yeah, repaint. I don't know, repaint, but re-release of certain figures. I think these look better than the Unrivaled ones personally, in the sort of orange and camo look. Johnny, let's come to you first on Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah, I think I seen Ortiz first and thought it was very much a better figure than the first one. So at least made it better. Is it a complete repaint or is there anything new about it?
I don't know. I said
the heads must be different.
Yeah, I said repaint, and what I really meant was a second release. So I think it's a repaint.
They look pretty good, especially Ortiz.
Yeah, basically mine. I was going to say Ortiz is better. Santana is either not quite as good or pretty much the same. But Ortiz is definitely better and worth getting.
And MJF is up last. I think he is the chase, another chase of the series, or a rare. So the original one comes with the robe, the full robe with the Burberry, and the chase comes with like a headband and a scarf. Is this the 6th MJF figure? It's going to be the 5th or the 6th, isn't it?
I think he's had a lot of chase figures, so it is maybe the 6th.
No, it's the 5th. Series 2, and then Series 7, and then these.
Did he get a chase in Series 7?
Jake Hager and Jericho get the chase, right.
Yeah, that'll be 5.
But yeah, I think for a guy that doesn't change his look up that much, surprisingly at least Cody wears different outfits and wears different T-shirts and stuff. MGM's relatively keeps it the same.
Seems like they're just going to sort of move around whether to include the scarf or not, or include a robe, and then change the colour of the trunks around, just to justify it as a new figure, which it's kind of not. But to be honest, if you're going to look at these figures alone, I think they both are pretty good. So they've made an improvement at least.
They made an improvement in the accessories. It's the worst MJF as far as looking like him by an absolute mile. It looks more like Samoa Joe.
It does. Yeah.
There's me talk.
Yeah. So yeah, we move on to WWE now. I think that's all out for AEW. The retros are back. So they released the figure, the pictures for the the 4 retros, Roddy Piper, Bob Orton, Mr. T, and Mean Gene. Let's go to Johnny first. What do you think of these 4 carded?
For me, it's a complete 100% home run. All 4 of them are brilliant, perfect. The carded versions are really good. They've got the same color across the board. They're very consistent. So, yeah, there's nothing I'd change. People always say, "Oh, you could have included this accessory, that accessory." Maybe you shouldn't have even included Cowboy Orton's cap. I think it was quite important to do the kilt with Piper because he is so like playing underneath the kilt. And the Mean Gene, that microphone, fair enough. Not going to cost too much to add that. So I think they've done it perfectly. And, even though they're releasing them all in the same set, they all make sense because they're all from WrestleMania 1 or at least the same era. So, yes, I think they've knocked it out of the park here.
Yeah, smashing. The box that goes with it is pretty sweet as well. Really good look on that box. I don't think the choices would be everyone's personal favourites. Like, I think Orton is running his shelf life and things like that. I think they could have picked maybe better characters from the same era, same WrestleMania. But, Orton's one that's going to be cheap for them, I think, and they like to have a little contract with. So for who it is and what they are, they're absolutely brilliant. Really good.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It definitely could have replaced one like Hulk Hogan even, It's probably the number 1 pick instead of Orton, but they're going to be saving bigger names for other series so they can sort of headline. Like you'd say Mr. T probably headlines this set. And then you'll say that Hogan headlines the next one and so on and so forth and get a few mid-carders in mixed around. So completely understand what they've gone for. And I'm okay with that.
I sort of like the way that they're releasing all 4 into one box. So I think it sort of means people won't get gaps in their collection, if you know what I mean. Like you won't miss out on one more than another. And you won't see more Mean Genes than you will Cowboy Bobs and so on, which I quite like. I think it's quite good.
You might see them more on eBay and stuff, but you're right, They're not going to be peg one because they're not going to be on sale. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like got a surplus of Ortons. You're not going to run out of Mr. T's, whatever. So
on the back of the card, I really like as well. The back of the card is very Hasbro-esque with the outline of it. Yeah, exactly. Rather than just having the images of the figures on the bottom like the retros do, it looks great. It's just a silhouette of the figs. Ultimate editions. So they had we saw the fan takeover Triple H, which I don't think did any of us vote for this one. The sort of 2006 DX.
I didn't vote for any because I thought the choices were poor. Didn't really want any of them, so it didn't matter to me.
It looks like the sort of park ranger from Jumanji. Do you know what I mean? I think it was Alan. I think it was Alan Parrish's dad who then become the sort of Jumanji. Who wore the safari outfit. Blabbing on. We also had the Macho Man from the Kickstarter released. The images in that one, so with the cowboy hat and the cowboy hat with the attached microphone as well. How do you guys feel about the sort of microphone that attaches? And
I'm fine with it as long as you can have the hat, glasses, and microphone at the same time. But from the images, it looked like there was a hat with a microphone and then a hat with sunglasses, but not all 3 at the same time.
Not all 3 at the same time, correct?
Yeah. So hopefully they can display them all at the same time.
Yeah, there's not much point otherwise because you want the whole package together.
Yeah, it'd be good to have like a hat without sunglasses or the piece, and then a hat with both.
Yeah.
But yeah, strange why they would. Maybe, hopefully, the thing's detachable, and then that's just easy as peas. Then, but like DDP.
Yeah, and it might be a new trend that they're going for because I think the new Hogan comes out with we might get there. Are we going to discuss that one again?
Which one?
Elite 91, I believe, Hulk Hogan.
I don't know on the list, only because we discussed it.
Yeah, so I think that one comes with the sunglasses attached to the bandana.
Right.
So I don't know if that's like a sort of route they're going to go down now.
They did the same with Morrison, didn't they, in the recent Elite, where his bandana and sunglasses were attached.
So it looks like they are going that route.
Don't know why no one's asked for that, are they? Speaking of things that.
Sorry, I can see why they're doing it, because I do have some figures, like perhaps the Hulk Hogan figures, where you put the glasses on, then you try and put the bandana on, and it knocks one or the other off. So,
Oh yeah, I guess so.
perhaps it is a decent idea.
It makes it harder to lose as well, I guess.
It does. True.
And once again, I guess it means that if you buy that, you can't then put that sunglasses on another figure because it would look ridiculous because of the headband. So you then have to buy the figure complete. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, Alexa Bliss Ultimate Edition they've released. So with like a five Funhouse Alexa Bliss face with the sort of demon Alexa Bliss as well. I don't know what you call that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the figure wise, it looks great. I don't know why they've picked this out of Alexa Bliss. I think she was a lot better before she did this whole Firefly thing. But Johnny.
There's not a lot to say. It's only a render at this stage, and you nailed it. This character has just been a complete flop from, especially if Bray Wyatt's left and things. So, who cares?
Yeah, I do quite like the attire. They've got her in the dresses, haven't they? 2 different dresses. I saw him holding it. It's quite fun for the people who like the Fiend gimmick, and there are still a lot of people who like that. It'll be nice to add to their collection, but as you guys both say, it's not one that had any resonance with me. So,
I'll get you a card, Adam.
Yeah. Let's go on to some basics. So just to sort of cover the whole basically, I'm not even sure what series this is because it didn't even say on the box. But you've got Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Macho Man in his light blue attire. Mandy Rose is the chase of an outfit that's already dated, which is good. She's got a light blue one and like a sort of pinky attire as well for Mandy. But they're all figures that we've pretty much had before, apart from the Macho. What's your guys' view on that Macho? I quite like it.
I'll quite like it if the scale is correct, because some of the basics has been coming out this completely out of scale. Like for instance, the Rey Mysterio, they used to really nail basic Mysterios, like flashback versions especially. But then they released, I think it was like Elite 95 or something like that in orange, and it was just so much taller than the others and it just didn't fit. So if it's in scale, I think I might look into getting a. Not that I'll be like rushing out day one.
Yeah, I think the Mandy Rose one is an odd choice. We've spoken a bit in the past on the pod about figures being dated, and I know, Jamie, you don't like that, where me and John don't mind. I do think in the basics where the kids are going to get them, it's quite important to have them quite current, because the kids will see that person on TV and want to buy it. And this Mandy Rose is very far away from the Mandy Rose that we're currently seeing on TV. So, and with it being the chase as well, I just don't think it'll sell.
I mean, yeah, I don't like dated figures in the sense of it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think that Mandy Rose has been in this character for only for about 2 months now, but they could have done some sort of change. It's different to, we move on to the next basic series, to the Legado del Fantasma figures, where they've got the makeup on. I think they only had for like either a certain event or a certain period of time with the masks, but they look great because it's depicting one match or one period of time. I don't find them dated because I think they look great and it makes sense.
Just if you're just going to skip through the basics, like you said, the next line, like you said, it's good that they come with masks, but otherwise I couldn't really care less, especially if they only wore the outfit once.
Yeah, definitely. Can I just confirm, Jamie, on that one? You've got Escobar and Whacking Wild. Is he the chase and then there's no Mendoza? Because it wasn't on the picture.
Yeah, so it's just 2 of the same. So there's one Whacking Wild that's got face paint and there's one that isn't.
But yeah, Santos Escobar only comes with the face paint. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
But I think
assuming Mendoza's
later,
another one.
Yeah, down the line there's a Mendoza, because you've got to get that Shayna Baszler in there, haven't you? Shayna Baszler and Rey Mysterio are the other 2 in the line, because why not?
think I've kind of just lost track of this conversation because it's about basics. And I was just thinking about the Simpsons where there's McBain, he's like, Mendoza! Yeah, anyway. Well, better than talking about basics, isn't it?
Basics. The Rock top picks has also been released. It's sort of coming with that Rock sort of hockey jersey, I think it is, like a football jersey for soft goods, which I think is going to be quite a sought after one, I think.
I'm going to be honest, I think I've missed this one, so I'll let John take this one.
I didn't realise it was top picks when I seen it, but thanks for informing me on that. They usually somehow make their way over here eventually, don't they? So I might pick that one. I was going to get it if it was like a exclusive in America, but for 20 quid, why not? I think they're just, you're saying about they'll sell well or, going to be hard to find. I think there's enough Rock figures out there right now that it's only going to be, the diehards that are picking this one up.
Yeah. But then again, I think it's got enough of a fan base. It doesn't have to just be wrestling. He's such a big star that people will just go, oh, it's a Rock figure, and pick it up because of the fact it's The Rock. Why not get a Maui figure at the same time from Moana? Treat yourself. Rey Mysterio has also got a top picks in his sort of pink Mandy Rose-esque attire as well. We also see a Shotzi Elite, which is coming out with the sort of hat on with the Vikings. Once again, an already dated gimmick, but we can forgive this one, can't we? Because it's very, very recent that this has happened. So, and she had it for a good period of time. It was her gimmick. So,
yeah. I think that's always the case. We don't need to sort of back around to that. I just think that it still looks like exactly what she's wearing nowadays, anyway. So
yeah. So it's just the hat itself. I was quite looking forward to like a tank or something for them to her to come with this tank in like a ringside exclusive, but.
I think a lot of people have been asking for that, but God, no way I'd touch that with.
Yeah. With mine.
with your hand.
We also saw
quite a toyetic person to make a figure out of, so I would imagine that this will sell quite well. But yeah, bad wrestler, but that's for another day.
I remember once about a year ago, I saw someone put, do you know those tier lists? Someone put a tier list of women's wrestlers, and Shotzi was at the top by herself in the God tier. And I was like, oh, nothing to do with the fact that she looks like she might be a filth bag. We also we also saw the Goon, packaging for the Goon as well. I think this could be one of my. If it looks as good as it looks in the packaging, it could be up there for figure of the year. Don't judge me; it could be.
It's not quite right face-wise. I do incredibly like the figure, more than I thought I would. He's not a character that I really care about or anything, but it's really good. It's a really ace figure. They've not quite nailed the kind of old lined face that he had, wrinkled face, but yeah, it's good. It's nice.
Good figure, but I blinked and missed his whole career, so got no reference.
You could put a hat on a man and say it's you, couldn't you?
No.
Same little curly hair at the side.
That is it. Literally it.
So yeah, the Wicked Toy Figure Company, can't even speak now. They've had some reveals. Figures Toys Company, not Wicked Cool Toys. It's a different company. That Figures Toy Company. They have some reveals. They've had some new releases come out. We said before about how good their scouting must be because they always seem to pick people that have up and coming runs in AEW or WWE. This might blow your mind, Johnny, but they've released the Eli Drake and the Ethan Page. So both of them have both come out. Not the same person. It's not a chase. First of all, Eli Drake. I've sent you guys an image of this before. Looks very ruthless aggression-y, but Johnny, let's come to you. What do you think of these type of figures?
Let's have all four on these. Just tell the audience who they're.
We've got Jay Lethal is the other one, and Alex Wright is the other one.
Okay. Crap, and crap. End of discussion. They all look nothing like them. They're all very poorly made, very cheap, and I've got no interest at all in Figures Toy Company. They don't do anything right at all.
Let's move on to me. Right, here we go. Ethan Page is all right. It looks like the head is in decentish scale. Jay Lethal you can get away with because he's quite a toyetic character to do. Alex Wright is terrible, like one of the worst faces that I've seen in quite a while on a figure. And Eli Drake is absolutely horrendous. Doesn't look a single thing like him. Unfortunately, they do still look the same bad quality bodies that they've been producing, which is a shame because they've got good licenses. They need to up their game.
It's one way around the WWE suing them loophole is just to make it look nothing like Eli Drake.
Well, LA Knight.
Or LA Knight. It's LA Day and Night, looking at the two. The two people.
I think you're wrong about Jay Lethal. I think he's worse than the LA Knight. Awful. Especially because the face is right next to the figure on the packaging. So you can see what they look like, then you see the figure, and it's just unbelievably different.
So we won't be getting them on the show then. So next up is Zombie Sailor, who's had a few reveals this week. So Bruiser Brody will cover first because it's an unpainted render. It's going to have the fur boots, which is one reveal that he's had, which I believe is actual fur going to be on the shoes, which I quite like. If it's a nice little touch.
I've seen a lot of people tear this one apart, but I didn't think it was too bad. But you might need to wait for the painted version to really see how that's going to turn out. So I'll just say that for now. I didn't think it was as bad as people have been saying it was.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to see on this one. I don't think the face looks great, but you never know. With a bit of paint, it might look much better. I'm not a big fan of the action, of the clothesline action on it. I think they could have just gone with the kind of big hitting type of action for Brody. There's not much that you can do with his action that mimics his kind of moveset.
Did he not do a
clothesline? Sorry,
did he not do a clothesline? It's like one of his signature moves. Or?
I think it's
not one of his big signature moves. No.
Wasn't it like a knee drop or something was his finisher? Or
yeah.
Am I thinking that? So
I had a look at the list and I couldn't link anything to it. So.
Well, I don't know if it comes with a chain, and maybe you can do a little whip round with a chain or something. But
well, you can't use an action anyway because they don't move. They're just like
no,
it's not spring loaded like Hasbro's. They're just
statues, filthy statues. Danhausen is up next. We've had a painted render of him revealed. We've actually got painted figures from Zombie Sailor. Jeez. We've had him with the cape revealed. He's quite popular on the internet culture at the moment, is old Danhausen. Adam's old, so in that face, I don't get it. What you kids see in this person, but what's wrong with it?
There's nothing wrong with Danhausen. I've seen him on a couple of shows. Minute here, minute there. He seems quite a nice man with a likable character. Unfortunately, the figure is absolutely horrendous and looks like it should live in a pound shop. It just looks like the type of plastic that is like a really bad bootleg. The tattoos are nice, but I said to you, Jamie, they kind of look like they're almost transfers on it, rather than the detail being kind of molded into the figure almost. It just looks like somebody's, wet a transfer and stuck it on the shoulder. He's a good character. He's a toyetic character. They should have done better with this figure.
I think this suffers from the opposite of what the Bruiser Brody does. Everyone's raving about it. Everyone says it's brilliant, but it's just not. I think the face is pretty good, the head. But after that, the body is too skinny. It just doesn't look like a wrestler, if that makes sense. The hands are massive. And the tattoos, I could only describe it as someone, a little child who's playing on WD 2K, and he's made his own wrestler, and he's went into, the default tattoo mode, stuck it 100% black, and put them on his wrestler. It don't look like tattoos, as you say. It just look like something that's been painted on, if that makes sense. Not a tattoo. It's a yeah. Well, I might even
it almost reminds me of that little terrible Rey Mysterio figure that did it come with the Giant on Toy Biz.
Yeah, and Kevin Nash.
Just reminds me of that, and that was awful. So
yeah, I said to you the other day about that, Adam. So yeah, it's the same for me. And maybe I was being a bit generous about 2K. Maybe it looks a bit more like a Warzone, WF Warzone for the PlayStation 1 tattoo.
The Attitude game where you could create your own wrestler. Remember, you used to be able to unlock head on that. Do you remember? You play Attitude on the PlayStation?
Yeah,
I think if
it was
you
just
won,
like an invisible body with a head on.
yeah, sort of. And just before the match, when they do the little smack talk, and you'd always say, "I am so big and muscular." He used to say. I think he has to finish the career mode else. No, I think that's how you unlocked head or something. Also, we had King Kong Bundy, painted one of that one. I think this looks fantastic, Adam.
yeah, you can get away with that because they've done well on the body shape, and little dumpy Bundy kind of thing, but with big features. They've done well with this one. I don't like the style of the plastic mold that they've used, like I've said with Danhausen, but you can get away with it, and I can see this one, fitting nicely into a collection.
Yeah, it's all right. Don't think they could have done much wrong. So it was a safe one, and they've done it well, I guess.
They've done it well. We'll put that quote on the back of the box for him, should we? Chella Toys, let's skip over to them because they had the sort of big bobblehead Axe and Smash revealed. I'm not fully sure what they are, but it's sort of like a bobblehead figure. Sort of like in 2K when you put the big head mode on.
This confused me. They've not actually made it, right?
Yeah.
I think
they've made it. I think they're like, a bit like the Jay White, and they were in conjunction with a shop or another brand or something like that. It's kind of like that.
I thought that shop had already released all the kind of promo and like features for this, and now all of a sudden Chella are doing it. It really confuses me.
Yeah, but it's the Jay White all over again. So they've been released or they've been on pre-order in the States, and I believe now that Chella have said that they're going to release some on their own website over here. So yes, back onto the subject of what they are. We've talked about bobbleheads before, and we said we just don't see the point. And I think there was some in America that were going for 50 quid or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We say how much of a rip-off it was, but I've got to give it them. These do look really good. The detail is there. I won't be buying them, but I do think they're good.
I think the one where I should like them, and they are very well done, but I don't. And I can't quite say why.
I think I know why. It's because they're standalone figures. I think if they were part of a collection, if you saw 5 or 6 of these, so say if you had these two with 4 more people in the same style, they would stand out. But because it's just 2 standalone figures, what are you going to do with them? You're going to start a collection of 2?
The thing is, Jamie, that's the exact reason why I'm not going to buy them, because they're going to release more of these. I don't want to get, into a trap of buying a new line that I don't really want to collect.
Sucked in to the collection.
Yeah. But yeah, look good. Detail.
Yeah.
Don't look cheap.
No, they certainly don't. Speaking of show, they had the pre-order for Big Daddy went live as well last week. Still live as well at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think there's a time limit on this. It'll just be 1,000 units by the looks of it. So until they're gone, that'll be it. I haven't bought one yet. I was kind of waiting until they might release a Giant Haystacks normal one pre-order, so at least try and combine a little bit of postage.
Yeah, I'm literally doing exactly the same myself.
I don't think it's happening, but there might be like a little crossover between the two. You'd hope that they do even a few days they'd have both on there, but I'm guessing the figures will be released at separate times.
Yeah, I don't know why they constantly do this, where they're putting figures up at random times for pre-order when they could put a few up at the same time.
Doesn't make a whole heap of sense, does it? But that is it for the old news, boys. Yeah, I think that's everything. Should we move on to our pick-me-ups?
Yeah, let's do it.
Stuff. Woke me up's time now. We're looking at all of our pickups since the latest episode of the podcast. I'll start, should I? Let's start with BCA Town. Only a quick visit this time round. I didn't actually get a figure this time, which was more of an accessory to complete a figure. So I've now finally completed the Double J, Jeff Jarrett BCA. So I finally got the sunglasses, Elton John-esque, and the hat to go with the figure. You know, it's great on display. There it is.
Yep. You're right. Now it looks good.
I'm getting Day Double J Vu. I'm sure you said you completed it last time.
No.
Sure you did.
No, I think I put it on Instagram, the picture.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks good anyway.
Yeah, so this arrived after the last episode, so it qualifies for the pick me ups for this one. So yeah, looks good for Double J. And he also gave me a little cheeky retweet, so thanks for that, Jeff.
Well done, Jamie.
Adam.
Well, going from Jono's favourite town, BCA Town, to Jono's favourite corner, Card and Sticker Corner.
Oh.
Just a few.
I'll just get my pillow.
Just a few random ones. First one is one that I got from America, which is a WCW NWO series from 1999. Quite a good one for me, this one. It's got both the NWO black and white and red and black. And it's got the LWO in this one as well, which is good. Some from Australia, which are the official sticker collection ones from Australia. WWF ones from same period, 1999. And I just managed to pick up a cheap box of the latest ones out, which are the WWE Superstars cards. One of them on eBay where the guy had literally written WWE cards as the item description. And they're brand new out, and I got them for about a third, less than a third of the price that they normally are. So, yeah, tip for you on eBay. Write the actual name of the products. But yeah, they will all go in there very shortly.
Smashing. Speaking of collections that we are thinking about quitting already, Adam, I've been on about the mini belt collections, like shouldn't I continue? So what you do in times of doubt? Well, you buy yourself more, don't you? So I picked up 4 more. First is the hardcore that Jamie picked up last time. So there he is. Second is the current Intercontinental Championship.
That's good as a mini belt, this does.
Opening now for viewers on YouTube. There it is. Very good.
Something from what's that Nicolas Cage film? National Treasure. That's something from that. No.
Don't remember that one. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship rather than the WWE, which is more purpley, which I've already got. And finally, the United States Championship, the current one as well. So,
someone made the most of the sale on, didn't they?
Yeah, I think I bought anything that was under £30 that I didn't already have. So it was them 4.
Yeah, they're nice. The Intercontinental one looks better than it does full size, I think.
I think some mini belts you look at, they get you a bit itchy for them, don't they? I think the IC and the US ones are probably those. $1 million belt as well looks fantastic as a mini belt.
Well, I can't say it look better than the bigger replicas, but yeah, they're pretty well made, to be fair to them.
They're more gettable, aren't they?
Certainly are that.
Rather than 4 gettable. So yeah, one line that I'm not going to start, but I did pick it up because, as I mentioned earlier, I like to get merch from people that I've interviewed. I got the Micro Brawlers Adam Bomb. I picked this up off eBay. It's a very generous price. It's about £5.50. I think I paid for it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a very good price. It's from the wrestling crate that they have over in America. But yeah, very toyetic. Lends itself to a good figure, does our Brian. So yeah, very good. My Micro Brawler.
we've discussed micro brawlers before. If it's somebody like that, it really works. And if it's a fiver, yeah, definitely worth getting.
I'm having deja vu about this one that you had in the last of Jamie's pickups. Maybe we just talked about the actual figure recently.
Yeah, I think we have.
So that's the figure. And Adam Bomb gave me a retweet as well after I got this. So. Okay, a lot of retweets from 1995 WWF wrestlers.
If you don't get a retweet from the wrestler in your third pickup, then I'll be very disappointed.
I think one of them's dead.
One of them.
Went down that route.
Oh, Adam.
My second pickup is my only figure purchase since the last pod, and it is to go with one of these stickers that's in my cabinet, and it is the rarer version of good old Miss Elizabeth. I do think this is a nice figure, this one, wearing the exact dress that is in the sticker above me. Definitely better than the green one for me, this one.
If they'd only just stuck with that Elizabeth and never released the green one, might have been bit more like special, bit worth something. But I think ever since that green one come out, the Elizabeths have just, plummeted in sort of value in terms of people wanting them and of price.
Yeah, I think they could bring it back by doing an NWO Elizabeth.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like if they did that instead of the green one, I think we would just be complete. We wouldn't need another Elizabeth again ever.
Well, because then you'd have that one, the NWO, and the yellow from SummerSlam, wouldn't you? So
yeah, I think that would be enough. Maybe you could do a WrestleMania 7 one if you're gonna have another one.
That's wearing the sparkly jumper. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of the heels you can take off. That'd be good. I know it was Sherry that had to get heels off, wasn't there? It was Sherry.
Yeah.
I've got the wrong mistresses.
Never mind. You had all in good intentions. So back to me, is it?
It is.
So yeah, talking about the mini belts and also like the big belts, I was kind of up in the air about continued collecting. So once again, I went and bought another one in times of doubt, and it's the big version of the Bray Wyatt Fiend Championship Universal. So it's bloody huge.
Look there.
As you can see.
I saw you pick that up, and you got a right old deal on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, it's something I've been kind of following on Euroshop, and I said if it was under $250, I might get it, and never did for some reason, even despite the amount of sales I've had. And then I seen a post on the belt group, Europe's Home of Wrestling Belts, for £200. So, good price, but I wouldn't have paid any more for it, I think. Well, I would have done, but I would have been disappointed if I paid any more. It feels a bit cheapish. Probably, but it is big.
It looks incredibly detailed.
Yeah, it is. It's just, something feels a little cheap about it, but I don't know what. It's a bit spongy. And
did he actually use it in the storyline as his title belt?
Yeah. Like for instance, it was the strange one. Do you know when he lost to Goldberg in Saudi? He wore this out, but then suddenly Goldberg had the blue Universal when he won. So that was like one of the giveaways that we knew there was going to be a title change of it. Kind of thinking non-kayfabe.
They did the same with Kofi, and they had that. Daniel Bryan's vegan belt. Well, I won't do the. I'll save a big one for last. I got some AEW figures arrived because of the quiz that was the other week. I got the bonus prize. So I got the Cody Series 4 as the bonus prize. I don't have this figure, so that's always a good one to pick up. It's quite readily available, truth be told, but I've only got the exclusive Smith's Cody loose, so I needed him. And then it was Phil who sent me the figure. Also done a deal with me for Britt Baker. So I've got a Britt Baker as well. So and obviously he was posting that out anyway, so gave him £15 and I got a DMD.
Looks a lot better in the packaging than I thought it would, that Baker.
It's not too bad.
You say it was only £15? bargain because they ain't released over here yet.
No, I mean this. I think I've resigned to get one of each guy or girl. So yeah, it's just a must-have. I think it was Britt Baker. It's certainly going to be cheaper than the Lights Out match one.
Yep, I've got that series on pre-order from a certain company. Been waiting a while for certain things. Don't know if I'll ever get certain things. They promised me certain things. Certain things never come. If you're listening, you know.
Well, why pay more? Adam, let's come to you.
My last one is not a purchase, but it is a prize. Because I am now one half of the new Fantasy Wrestling League Tag Team Champions. I let my partner choose first, and he chose Legion of Doom Custom Hasbros, which was good because I wanted the other ones. So from Old School Customs, I now have the Too Cool Custom Hasbros. Absolutely love that, Scotty. I don't think he could have nailed that one better as far as action and look. Some of his best work, Old School Customs on Facebook. Check them out. I think it's Big Dog Customs on Instagram.
Or Mad Dog Custom? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Big Dog.
Big Dog.
Yep, those are fantastic. And I kind of forgot about the prize. You know, you get kind of wrapped up in the competition, not thinking about the prizes. And I forgot these were on the line. And those are probably the one that, like, you know, as a bundle, the best prize in FWL. So, yeah, well done for winning. I think you got carried to victory by your partner, but that's for another story.
Yeah. I got him through one round. He got me through the others.
Fair enough.
Scotty's who hotly retired today. No, he quit WWE today.
Did
he? He did. He's working.
Breaking news.
Yeah, sorry, before we come on live, he left.
I didn't know he was with the company, to be honest.
He does the training in the performance center. He said basically, if it ever become just about the paycheck, then he didn't want to do it anymore. He said that's what it's become. So he left.
Anyway, yes. Speaking of tag team champs, I also won a tag team competition on Legion Hasbro quiz, but I've got nothing to show for it, so that's not down to me. Thank you for that, Phil. But yeah. Myself and Spark are the champs.
Speaking of, you got your belt there. There's fiendish behaviour from the pair of you. Legion of Hasbro, we had the In Your House sale that they had, and Fred Rowley, who we spoke about before, top bloke, Mr. Perfect, £4 posted. With Mr. Perfect, which
is that the big one that you saved till last?
No.
Oh.
No, give me some respect. So Mr. Perfect was the
£4 posted.
I know.
It cost £4 to post.
I think he sent it signed as well.
Signed?
£4.20. I did buy some Dudley Boys BCA like things off him anyway, just clean them up before I show him. So he made a tenner in total off me. So the main event. My quiz prize arrived from the Legion of Hasbro for winning the quiz the other month, and it's the Series 9 Hacksaw Jim Duggan Hasbro mint on card in a lovely little box.
Yep. Congratulations. And shame that you're no longer the champion at the time of recording when you receive your prize.
Yeah. What can you do? Yeah.
Well,
you win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day.
Yep. Or we lose it on questions that weren't.
Yeah.
Phil. Never mind. All fun.
But all in all, this figure's great, and it's even better. So we enjoy the quiz, we enjoy playing it, but it's even better when he gets me out of it. Now this bad boy, don't know what to do with it, but the cards are really good, Nick.
Good.
It's quite
I would really like that figure. I think I had that one, not before I had the other, but it was always up in my pecking order when I was having matches and stuff like that. I just like the look of the figure.
We'll cover that in retro review in a few episodes' time.
Yes. Yes. So, well done.
I'm all out of stuff.
So am I think.
Me too.
Lovely stuff. Let's move on then. Should we let's move on to the break it down segment. So the comparisons that you always hear from wrestling fans nowadays are AEW, WWE, which one do you prefer? A lot of wrestling fans can go for both, a lot go for one or the other. It's our job now to have a look at both cards and fire some questions across to our experts. First of all, AEW Full Gear. As a whole card, I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but the star ratings I want to talk to you about first. I discussed this with you before, Adam, with the star ratings. One thing downfall for the whole card, as much as I enjoyed it, was how ridiculous the star ratings were that were revealed for it. Did either of you guys get a look at these?
Yeah, I heard them on Jim Cornette's podcast, so yes, I think he had a few choice words to say about them. But if you want to lead off those and want to talk about them specifically, I'll let you know my feelings on each.
Yeah, the viewers might not know, so make sure you talk.
Make sure I talk. That's a good thing we're on a podcast then. Well, first of all, he's given a 5-star rating to the Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Christian Cage. That was a 5-star rating that was given to.
Yeah, I mean, that was just ridiculous. How can you give a 5-star match to something that was just really like a spot fest, like a hardcore sort of, fun type of match, a comedy match in some respects, it's just one of those. There was no psychology or anything to it to really merit a 5-star award, and yeah, I think that was the most ridiculous scoring on the whole card for sure.
It didn't make any sense, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, if you look at some of the matches that he's rated 5 stars in the past and compare it to that, for me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
I didn't really enjoy this one being on the card. The same match happened the week earlier, right?
No, there was essentially like a skit where they had a scrap, and the baby faces, the Jungle Boy and whatever, they were the upper hand on the Elite. So super
We've
click.
seen from a while ago, we've seen them intermingling in different types of matches for a while now. So I think we've had 5-on-5s and 2-on-2s and single matches and all sorts between the 6 of them. So yeah, it was nothing special in terms of like they haven't fought each other because they have. So
it was just, it wasn't a 5-star match. I think personally, the MJF versus Darby Allin match I think was picture perfect. I really enjoyed that match. I think from start to finish, it told a story. The build-up matched the match, if that makes sense to you guys.
That was my favorite of the whole event, easily. I would put that, if you're going to say it, something like that is a 5-star match, I would say that's a 5-star match, and I'd probably rate, it wasn't a bad match, the Jungle Express versus the Elite. It was about a 3.5, something like that. If you're going to say it, MJF first, Darby was a 5-star.
Yeah, I think that the main thing to take away from it is what's the rating? Is it about action? Is it about story? Is it about build up? What's the whole thing with it? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
Surely it's got to be everything. Surely it's got to be a combined effort.
Which
the problem that Meltzer's got is that he's in with these guys, isn't he? Omega and Bucks, he's up their arse, just to put it bluntly. So he's going to be hand them out 5-star matches when there's not really any merit for it. Didn't you give Kenny Omega a 7-star match or something stupid before? So the whole system stars is completely out the window now anyway.
So yeah, just to really make everyone laugh, the Inner Circle versus American Top Team and the Men of the Year got 4 stars.
Yeah, that was bad. It was, I wouldn't say it was a good match, maybe 2 stars.
My wife walked in when I was watching it and she laughed. She hasn't laughed since we've been married. She laughed. There's the one bit where Jericho was doing the Lion Salt and Dos Santos on the outside, and Jericho just stood there looking at him, and it's like, it's quite obvious what's going on. I understand that they're new guys, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I think if you're gonna start throwing out those sorts of ratings you've got to make it make sense. And that makes sense.
Certainly a memorable spot, that one, when he's shouting for Junior, and he was on the second row for ages. I recreated that at training, didn't I, Adam? Don't know if you've seen that. I was shouting Junior, but poor match.
And Kenny Omega and Adam Page got 5.5 stars out of 5 stars.
Nope, it wasn't. The problem with this match, and I felt like, I know they kind of wanted this slow build for Adam Page, but they've completely derailed him because of the slow build. Mm-hmm. He's completely gone off the tracks to the point where I didn't even think they were going to like put the championship on him. And from what it seems like, I think they've only done that because Kenny is injured, needs some time off, and it just fell flat. It just didn't feel as if it was like a good moment from the build.
It felt
Adam Page was really hot, really hot, red hot, and then he disappeared for a while. And it's almost like, from a fan like myself's point of view, is that it's almost undeserved now.
Yeah,
because he's come back and they've just put him straight in it, and he won a 5-man match or whatever it was. Fair play. At least they did that. But yeah, he's come back straight from being out for a while, and now he's straight as champion. It's just, there's not enough for me there. There's not enough of a storyline continuation. It's just a break, and now only a break because Omega's injured. So yeah.
I think if you look at when Adam Hot was at his peak, as when he was feuding with Brian Cage, if you just remove that Brian Cage feud altogether, then it makes more sense for Adam Page just to go for the title then, rather than having Christian win a Battle Royal and then having mandatory challenges and stuff. Just, he was number one contender for God knows how many months and never got a title shot. Doesn't make any sense.
Nah, I think they've thought, this long-term story build's going to be the best thing, and in this case it wasn't, because it derailed him completely. But I think he is really good. Like, he's got a good, connection in the crowd, and as we've seen from Dynamite, I think there's going to be a good feud with Daniel Bryan, who's turned heel, or he's going to have some fun doing that.
Well, Daniel Bryan's been making his way through the Dark Order by the looks of it, sort of like an Immortal Kombat Tower style, which I quite like. Look forward to that over the next couple of months. AEW Full Gear, I thought it was a really good show. I thought it was really well put together. I think every match on the card made complete sense as to where it was. It looked like it was well thought out as to where each match was going to be. The Jericho match, even though we said it wasn't as good as a 4-star, it was still the perfect position for it on the card, just before the main event and just after. I think it was just after the Tay Conti match, wasn't it? Or the Eddie Kingston CM Punk was just after that. So I think every match deserved its place on the card, personally. I was quite happy with it. Miro and Daniel Bryan especially, I think they put on a good bout.
Yeah, it was probably like the second best match for me, I think. That was better than the main event.
I was just glad Miro got something, because he'd gone really stale in his TNT title run, and then they took the belt off him for pretty much no reason. Was it Sammy Guevara's hometown or something?
It was the Brody Lee. It's Brody Lee's hometown.
He didn't need to be stripped then, because he'd not done anything with it and he'd gone quite stale. He needed to be put back. And this opportunity with Moxley going gave him that chance. And they did it quite well, to be fair. Brought him back in the loop. So I'm excited to see where Miro's going to go from here.
I think they're just waiting for Lana's 90 days to run out.
I'm not excited to see if it goes that
neither am I, but then you got Miro or Rusev, when he was at his best, he was with Lana back in 2015, 2016. So I think it could be a good revamp of the character that could be needed.
I don't think he needs anything at the moment. I think he's really finding his feet with the character he has. He's got this sort of this relationship with God, which is absolutely quite hilarious when you listen to his promos, and like how it's almost like he's mocking God, even though he's religious. And I think that someone who's not like sort of religious, it's quite funny.
And
I
yeah,
do think we need to talk about the predictability still of the pay-per-view, because we did harp on about it on a previous pod about the predictability. And this one had two matches which went against what I was thinking, to be fair to AEW, but they were the two that probably really shouldn't have gone against what I was thinking. There is zero way that Adam Cole should have lost. I'm not quite sure what they're doing with him on that pay-per-view. And the Cody and Pac beating Malachi Black and Andrade. Why? There's talk about Malachi Black being built up now to be this kind of, obviously he's going to be in a stable, the House of Black, like AEW do. But there's, if they're going to make him big, well, where was the need for this? And there's just no need for it. But everything else was very predictable again.
Right, so moans about predictability, complains when it goes against what he predicts. And I completely disagree. I think the other matches could have went either way as well. As I said, I wasn't sure if they're going to put the belt on Paige and not knowing about Omega's condition. So that could have went either way for me going in. I think there's a chance that FTR could have won the tag belts. The rest you could probably fairly... Well, I think there's even still a shot for Miro to beat Daniel Bryan, So I think it could have went either way all night. Well, not all night, but, at least half the matches or even more.
We'll disagree on that one, I think. Positives-wise, let's give a positive here for Tay Conti and the way that AEW have treated her, built her, probably the most improved wrestler of the year for me. Ward definitely wouldn't have been one of the people that when she left NXT, you'd have gone, AEW are going to snap her up type of thing. And she definitely earned her shot in that match. So I was really pleased with how AEW dealt with that.
One thing to know about that is also when she came to AEW, Tay Conti, she was the jobber on Dark, so she would lose matches against like Nyla Rose and more over talent. So that just goes to show you that certain people, when they come into the roster and they lose it on Dark each week, like Lee Moriarty and the other people from the Nightmare family that lose and that have a record of 0-27 or whatever it is, there's still hope for them, if that makes sense. So there's Lee Johnson, that's it.
Yeah.
So there's still hope. Like Dante Martin, I think when he first came, they were losing every week, top flight. Well, now look at him. They've built him up as like the hottest new talent. So I think they are doing that right. I think they are developing talent right. That it's some of them anyway.
Yes, they seem to be doing a good job.
Let's move on to the other end of the scale then, boys. Should we move on to Survivor Series, which was a week after. We talked about build-up for events. AEW Full Gear, as you said, had a 2-year build-up for the main event. This had under a 2-week build-up, I think, for the whole pay-per-view. Nakamura beat Damian Priest in the pre-show. Interesting fact, Nakamura has only defended his title once since he won it in August, which crazy. But on the pre-show, Adam, did you get a look at this?
I didn't actually watch this match, no. I woke up at about 1:30, so I started straight away on Survivor Series. I heard about it and read about it, but I've not watched it.
I seen the highlights during the show. I didn't watch the pre-show. And, it came down to, Damien getting disqualification, loss because of the interference with Rick Boogs or whatever it was. And that's the reason why Nakamura hasn't defended the title, because he's been pointless tag matches where he should be in singles competition. It was just stupid. I think it was just like almost just there to give SmackDown a token win.
Yeah,
is it the start of Priest's heel turn? Is that why it was done?
I think it's more of like a bad boy run rather than a heel turn, if you know what I mean. Like
Austin.
Because, Nakamura's not like a big baby face. He is, but he's not like properly over, is he?
The thing is, about Rick Boogs is bloody annoying, though. So I think it was fair enough that he went and brought his guitar.
Yeah, he's expensive as well. You see Wayne's World, how expensive guitars are. So to start off the match, we had the champion of the show. We had the champion versus champion, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. I watched this Well, just like yourself, Adam, I woke up early and I watched the pay-per-view, and I watched this match first, and I was like, you know what, it's actually quite a good match. I was getting into it, and then I think it just started to slow down, or something happened. The match just fell a bit flat for me. Becky Lynch looked fantastic, by the way. Johnny, let's come to you first.
I think there's a lot of intrigue with this match going in with what had been happening backstage or supposedly backstage, and Twitter wars and all that sort of thing between both the Flairs and Becky Lynch. So there was that aspect going into it that made it quite interesting. It was, probably the one you'd want to see the most out of all the matches, or at least it was for me. But you're right, it did fall a little flat, and I think it was still good overall, and I think the right person won in the right kind of way, I guess, as well.
I think a match where there's so much anticipation, like you just led with, Johnny, once the start's out the way, when you're going to see how they react with each other and things, it is going to fall a little bit. But they didn't do anything to pick it back up. I'd probably still say 3/4 of the match were pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
Charlotte's got a habit of doing a full-on wedgie to people. I don't think they appreciate that as much as she likes to give them.
As much as you appreciate it, Jamie.
I don't know about my pause button's broken. What are you on about? Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match. Predictable in the fact of I thought Kevin Owens would turn his team to start with, but I thought he'd stun someone and then leave. But it's getting a bit stale from that. The whole Kevin Owens turn on people. We've had that story quite a few times now. But I think all in all, I know you quite like this match, Adam, didn't you, as a whole? Let's come to you on this one.
Yeah, I thought it was a cracking match. I was involved in it the whole way, and my concentration didn't wane to say it was an averagely long match. Kevin Owens, we did a prediction contest before, and it was like, who's going to be the first person eliminated? Kevin Owens. You could kind of see it coming. I know you two guys, or at least Jamie, wasn't with me that Austin Theory would have a decent part in this match. So yeah, Jamie, I trumped you on that one. Really enjoyed Austin Theory's the whole bit throughout the match. I do think they could have given him the win with Rollins. I was quite disappointed at both winners of the Survivor Series matches that nobody kind of knew got any rub, really. At least they gave Theory a bit of a long stretch in the match, but I think having the win would have given him that extra But yeah, it was a quality match, really well produced.
Yeah, do you know what? I kind of agree with almost everything you said there. So yeah, well put, and I did enjoy the match. But if anything tells you how important this is the first thing that happened in the match of rivalries between brands is that one person left the match completely, couldn't give a fuck, and left off.
But for the second year in a row. Seth Rollins last year sacrificed himself and Sheamus kicked him in the face. Yeah,
that's right. That just shows the importance of this this whole pay-per-view, really, doesn't it?
Another thing to note is that Finn Balor should not be. When I looked at the card, I looked at the match, and I thought Finn Balor's not going to last long in this. You shouldn't look at Finn Balor and think that, because of the beast that he was in NXT. You should be thinking, he might be a sole survivor. Also, Austin Theory had a lovely drop kick, and Sheamus got a lot of height in there. Good time.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that interrupt, but yeah, there's a nice little team of Hardy and Sheamus that, they did a good tag team effort on Theory and Rollins. I really enjoyed. But then at the end, Sheamus turns on his partner, which goes to show, again, no one cares about their brand winning the match.
It's just they want to win the match. That's what it is.
They're doing the same old thing with Jeff Hardy as well again. Oh, he almost did it, He's a 2-time world champion now, or whatever he is. I don't know if he's won it once or twice. They shouldn't be going down that same old route again, He's old, he's experienced. He's not a young, will he ever do it type of character. So it doesn't need that.
Yeah, to be honest, I was quite okay with, the booking of the match, other than the fact that 2 out of the competitors kind of turned on their own team. So, but other than that, I thought it was good.
speaking of pointless, the Battle Royal happened. The Pizza Hut Battle Royal happened. Omos eliminated eliminated Ricochet. What was the point of? I know it was for the Rock's 20th anniversary, but
yeah, I thought they might at least like create some sort of thing with AJ and Omos. Maybe they both last the final two, and AJ might just convince Omos to eliminate himself or something like that, or AJ eliminates him, a bit like Shawn Michaels eliminated Diesel in '94. Just something like that, just to set some sort of intrigue that there's possible dissension between them. But there was just nothing there, really. There was no storyline.
There wasn't. The commentators very strangely did try and instigate it, because they did say, does that technically mean that Omos has eliminated AJ Styles?
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't enough of it at all. I thought that Omos would win, but I thought he'd eliminate AJ by accident, but properly, like not by holding him. It would have been much more impactful had he done that.
All I say is you shouldn't be using the main card of a Big Four pay-per-view to build up a match for Raw.
But they didn't really do that.
They did. They had AJ Styles and Omos and the Street Profits.
But it's not as if they weren't feuding before that. So.
But then they had a match on Raw the night after because of that, because they threw them out of the ring and they took their pizza.
It's always going to happen in a battle royal, though. You always get matches on Raw and SmackDown as a result of that kind of show, that kind of event.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think the AJ and Omos versus Street Profits led from the battle royal. It was just going to happen anyway. I don't believe they created a rivalry.
It just shouldn't have happened. I would have quite liked someone else to. I think we said before that Omos was going to win it. Because it was relatively obvious, wasn't it?
You mean I said it and you completely disagreed with me, is what you mean?
Oh, I think I agreed, didn't I?
No.
Well, it was either going to be AJ or Omos, wasn't it? There was no one else really that could have took that.
I think I said Ricochet, actually, if I'm right.
You did.
But that's only because it's be different. Kooky. RK Bro faced the Usos next with one of the Randy always comes up with new ways to hit the RKO, which is quite good to follow. But surely Jimmy Uso would have seen him when he was in the top rope.
Yeah, that was not out of nowhere at all. Everyone seen it coming. You could definitely tell when the close-up was on Jimmy Uso on the top rope instead of panning out to see the full ring or whatever, where Randy was just looking up there. Is it time? You just say coming. He knew it was coming.
Like a bloody snake.
Yeah, especially when Randy was the legal man, it was just too obvious.
The match was all right.
Yeah.
To say on it.
Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars. The women's match, which is not getting 5 stars. Team Raw, which was Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Queen Zelina, versus SmackDown, which was Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm. Who were it was very sloppy.
Brutal.
Watch fest.
Yeah. You certainly know who's the better performers out of the women's division, and it's Becky and Charlotte.
Yeah. Can anyone explain why Natalya has gotten worse in 20 years that she's been with WWE or wherever it is now? My God, did you see what she did to Liv Morgan? She almost broke her neck by standing on her.
Oh, she does that.
A drop kick that she couldn't even, get any height off the floor.
I've seen that a few times. I don't know whether it's her being spiteful or not, but it's whenever someone's getting a bit of a push or a bit of a rub, she'll do something like that. I've seen it a few times when someone beats her.
You try and be too kind, Natalya. She's not doing that on purpose. She's doing it because she's rubbish.
Completely agree. But she was outshone in rubbishness in this match by Shotzi. It was absolutely horrendous. I don't think she did a single thing correctly in this match. And she lasted, obviously, until the end. This match was 0 stars. Terrible.
I was kind of thinking in the last two, and I think it was just about when it came down to Shotzi and Bianca in that Shotzi's completely fudged something up. So I wouldn't be surprised if like the original plan was Shotzi to win, but then the referee got to me and say, nope, change the decision. Bianca goes over.
Get rid of Shitzy.
Yeah.
Because Liv Morgan's going for a title push, so she's in a title feud with Becky Lynch.
Oh.
Yeah. So she won a fatal 5-way match last week to be number one contender.
What a stupid time to have it as well.
I know.
And
so,
she had a decent little promo as well. So
yeah. So for them to have Bianca Belair win, who's in a mid-card women's feud with Doudrop, it makes no sense whatsoever.
it may even to capitalize on that, like 4-on-1. It wasn't just like a little bit of a push because she got the win. She won 4-on-1, and for someone that they are not pushing at the moment, weird booking.
Yeah, I kind of, I must have read that Liv won a title shot, but I completely forgot about that. And yeah, it would have made a little bit more sense if she'd done a bit better than she did in the match.
So I think Liv's been in my fantasy wrestling team since the start of the season, I'm pretty sure. So
Rhea Ripley was good in this match. Just to give one little shining light, I didn't see any botches from her. So there we go.
She's a solid performer, if we're honest. She's and she's still young as well. I think she's like 23. So I look forward to her not being as bad as Natalia in 10 years. Toni Storm looks fantastic.
She's too slow for me. She waits for things to happen.
He didn't mean that way, and we know it.
No, I know.
Main event time: Roman Reigns versus Bugger. Predictable outcome. I think Roman Reigns going over clean. I think there was rumors going around that there'd be a finish involving Seth Rollins or even The Rock at some point, which I think the dirt sheet sort of ruined that expectation for people. You expect The Rock to come out and you end up getting nothing. All in all, I think the finish makes sense to you guys. Roman Reigns going over clean over the champion.
Yeah.
If you want to take Adam's reviews of AEW, that's predictable, very predictable way to go. But to be honest, it's kind of the right way to go. You want to keep Roman beating anyone that comes at him. But by this time, as I usually do, and it seems to be very especially for a Survivor Series, I've completely burnt out by the time the main event comes, and I'm not really paying much attention. It happened last year with Roman and McIntyre as well, so didn't really watch much of it. I was a bit preoccupied with something else.
It was a decent main event. It didn't keep me captivated and hooked, to be honest. They tried to paint Big E to not be a fun character anymore, and this is the serious Big E, which didn't really, I'm not going to buy that, to be honest, based on 1 week of him not having a laughing face. But it was a decent match. It was the right win. Yes, I don't like predictability, but like Jono says, it needs to happen with whatever they're building Roman to. And Roman's just the best thing in it at the moment. So yeah.
I think it plays to both characters of Roman being the sort of head of the table and Big E being the underdog, essentially. So I think that plays into both characters. Big E was wearing
the underdog, that was the champion. I'm not sure I agree with you on that one.
In the match.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, so the other thing, he's like, people doubt him a lot. I think that's been his whole, he's too much of a joke, sort of storyline that he's been had for the last year or so. So it ties into that. Anyway, he was wearing a Seinfeld based attire, which I quite liked. Did you guys see that?
That was only you that would have got that.
To be honest, that makes it worse that they were trying to build it up as like his serious side. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's when you said that, it sort of clicked, because the back of it it said Big E, I think, in like the Seinfeld logo. Then it had all the quotes from the show on his attire.
That's really lame.
Yeah. I said that I lost concentration. I think the main issue is that there's just nothing. There's no stakes in the match. They're fighting for nothing.
You know what it is? I think if they said whoever's the sole survivor for each team gets a title shot,
something like that would be. Actually, no, not a sole survivor, because that makes people turn on their own team. They need to have something at stake. I don't know what it could be. If they are going to insist on doing Raw v SmackDown, and ruin my good old Survivor Series, they have to make something worth fighting for.
The bragging rights trophy.
But there isn't. It's not even that.
Golden egg.
They don't even reference it after it's finished. They didn't say, "Oh, Raw clean sweep it again," or whatever.
They don't do that a lot these days compared to like the good old days. But it's very rare that you hear Michael Cole being like, "Oh, 7 months ago, at No Way Out or whatever it was, this person beat this person." You don't get that anymore. I don't think. I think they only refer to things in the last month or so.
Yeah, you get Michael Cole calling the powerbomb a spine buster. 25 years into his commentating career.
And to give a few props to Pat McAfee here, he did try and be all like Team SmackDown. He was the only one that was really trying to promote it.
He was trying to engage Corey quite a lot, wasn't he? Which was like trying to hold a conversation with a horse.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but Pat McAfee is not good on commentary. He should be doing something else, managing, or a bit like he was in NXT with the stable.
I agree with half of that and not with the other half. I do think he should be doing something else, but I do think he is good on commentary.
He does the narrating for the Ruthless Aggression documentary. Seriously.
Honestly, I would like to see him, back in a heel stable, and go back in the ring, rather than doing commentary every week because he's a quote-unquote babyface commentator, so not good.
Well, good stuff. Right, so should we wrap this up, boys? In total, would you say that you preferred AEW Full Gear, or did you prefer Survivor Series?
Yeah, AEW for me.
I think based on everything we've said, you've got to say AEW. It had the more important matches. It had the better build. According to Meltzer, it had the better matches. That's for the viewers to decide, I suppose. But yeah, Survivor Series was a nothing pay-per-view. It did have a couple of good matches, but it was nothing. It's Survivor Series. It's a big four. It should mean something.
Yeah, I think previously it's always been a big five until King of the Ring left in 2002. I'd be relatively happy if it was a big three, if I'm honest. Because Survivor Series just feels like it's just a bit filler now, doesn't it?
You don't want to get rid of it. You just need to change it back to what it was.
Yeah, and to hear our full comments on this, watch the episode last year of Survivor Series Best of the Best or Final Farewell.
I'm pleased you said that because I probably would have launched into another tirade like I did last year.
An update just with longer hair. Cool, let's move on to some retro review then, shall we, boys? Yes, sir. Retro review time now. We're looking at all of the WF Hasbros from Series 6. Johnny, let's fire across to you.
Across to me. So last time we finished reviewing Series 5, and we also included the middleweight Hogan. None of the scores combined troubled the top 10. The best one out of the whole bunch overall was the Warlord, and he came in like 19th place. So, wow. Yeah. And
what did Hogan score? Because there was some.
Yes, that's the bone of contention here, because the Legion Hasbro generally voted very high, and it's possibly even the highest score by Legion Hasbro overall for any one figure, going on average. 2 seconds.
The fanboys saying that it's rare, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is. They're not rating the figure; they're rating sort of, I don't know, like the value, or because they don't have it, they want it so much.
Absolute cabbage.
Yeah, 9.03 cabbages out of 10 for Legion Hasbro, but they're averaging out for 7.36 with our scores. The only one they've rated higher than that is the Ultimate Warrior from Series 3. And that's it. Hulk Hogan from Series 3 also scored 9.03, so it's on par with the mail-away.
Oh, well, there we go. So that makes sense, doesn't it?
Not really. Just because it doesn't have the tan, so I don't know how you could rate it better than Series 3. or one. Anyway, let's continue to series 6, is it? Yeah, 6. And we'll start with the Berserker. So the Berserker is in brown attire with a removable cloak, which is probably the main issue for me, is that I think it would have been better without the removable part. If it was molded on, it would have been a lot better. And it's probably the one and only time where an accessory is kind of took away from the figure, in my opinion. Where's his helmet?
Yeah, if you put some horns on your hat, Adam, it would be an absolute spit for you, wouldn't it? I didn't realise until, must have been 6-7 years ago, that it came with an accessory.
Oh, so you always had it like in its...
Yeah, I think I only bought it from my car boot sales, and so I don't think I ever bought it like in box, so it never really come with its outfit. I didn't even realise, I just thought it came with its pants.
So it is essentially the Hacksaw Jim Duggan body with the cloak on and the Berserker head. For that reason, you could see it's a little lacking in terms of that. I don't think the face is quite right. The hair's too light, in my opinion. And yeah, doesn't really look like him. Scores? Anyone? Or should we pass it over to Legion Hasbro for a comment?
Waiting for Adam to speak.
As far as the figure, I've wrote down that I would have preferred either them both to be removable, the hat and the tunic, or them both not to be. So I don't like the fact that one of them is, one of them isn't. The card for me is annoying because he's in his blue attire on the card. I hate that. I hate that. But for the Berserker, that's even worse because I knew the Berserker has brown and the card ruined it a little bit. The face is standard Viking, let's say. And the body shape is absolutely nowhere near. He was quite tall, quite lean in a way. He was muscly, but he was quite lean. It's nowhere near that it is. Yeah. So, not great.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I think the thumbs up on the figure as well sort of makes me cringe a bit. I don't think it's needed, is it? Martin Harrison of Legion Hasbro has put, underestimate this figure, solid hacksaw body with soft goods. So he's gone the opposite way, so he's given it 8 out of 10. And let's have a look at David O'Neill, who's put slightly lazy with the hacksaw body, especially the arms with thumbs up, and one arm for the 2x4. Could have at least modified one arm and gave him a sword accessory. And that seems to be the general consensus, is that give him some more accessories, which you can say for pretty much every Hasbro. But I don't think they're going to do it, regardless of who it was.
Yeah, I don't agree with that critique, if I'm honest, about should have had this success, should have had that. But yeah, I'm going to launch off on my score. I'm just going to give it a flat 6. Don't think it's very good. So it's not bad.
I'm a bit more than that. I think as a toy, it's all right. It's quite good. If you take out what we know now, 6.4 for me.
Okay. Definitely going slightly lower because although it was a decent figure to play with, and it's standard Viking face, nothing else is redeemable for me on it. 5.3. All
right. Well, Legion Hasbro scored this third best of this series as 7.38, which is quite high for the average of Legion Hasbro. So went the other direction to us. Next up, it is back to the beginning of the podcast. Arriba! Tito Santana, El Matador attire. It's this one. In fact, probably all of them tend to lose their gold markings down the side. Maybe I should try and get another one now that I've had a look at it. But yeah, it's a bit bland. It doesn't seem to scream out Tito Santana. Could have maybe done with some wrist guards if they've got nothing else on top.
Adam is going to go off on one now about the backing card.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. It is the worst.
All know them.
The worst. 1980s long hair, white shorts, Tito Santana. I like the figure. It was one of my favourites to play with when I was a kid. I really like the colours on it with the pink and the green. And I do think it works as El Matador. A lot of people will probably say needed a jacket. I'm not sure I would have enjoyed it with a jacket, especially if it was a moulded on one. It wouldn't have had the playability that it had. So, it's an average figure.
For me, I used to, when I was a kid, I used to like this figure because it's quite good to do moves to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
Because position-wise, you can get him in pretty much every move that you could want. So I think I quite like that about the figure. It brings back a little bit of nostalgia looking at it, but now as an adult, I look at it and it's sort of display-wise doesn't really do much. It's quite a bland one. It's quite one that's used quite a lot for customs. 6.5 for me.
Cool. Any comments on it?
Patrick Ayres has put green and pink shouldn't work together, but the Muppets and El Matador both managed it perfectly. He's given it 8 out of 10.
Lovely comparison there. Thank you for that. I'm giving it a 5.7. I think it's worse than Berserker.
I was going slightly more than Jamie, 6.8.
Robert Mitchell, who always comments first, bless him, he's given it a 7. He said he likes this fig. Could have done with a Matador jacket though. Backing card annoys me. So lazy to have a photo of old school T.O. And he's then put in brackets, this is not factored into my scoring. So just for clarification on that.
So, and Adam seems to have got the closest to the latest Hasbro score at 6.71 out of 10. Yes. Are we going to talk about the package in there? Can't wait till Evil Crush in the last episode. Let's move on. It's Pashango holding bones.
Not over your neck.
Not around the neck.
No, as a kid, I always had it over the neck as a kid.
Yeah, I think I've seen on the back of the car he's holding it. So stuck it in the hand. But you're right, it shouldn't be. It is a necklace, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those things that could be both.
But it's got the thing is to put a little thing on the side so you can hold it.
Yeah, I mean, did you ever use it as a weapon?
Not that I recall, but to be honest, if you think about it, Papa Shango was quite a short-lived character. It wasn't really on for long, maybe a year, if that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys around these sort of series were the same, weren't they? They were gone within certain periods, but it's a very memorable character for what he did to the Warrior.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off with the Legion of Hasbro. Paul Foster has said, 9, only recently found out that he became the Godfather.
Well, I suppose it's not as bad as not knowing Smash was the Repo Man, is it?
Or that Bryan Adams was Crush.
Oh, God.
Who wouldn't know that when they interviewed his friend?
Really? You've only just found that out?
Yeah, I found out very recent to close to interviewing Brian.
Is the clue not in the name?
Bryan Adams.
No, Crush. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, you didn't know Crush was Bryan Adams from WCW? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, they look completely different. One's wearing face paint, the other one.
Well, not really, because if you want the whole era that you big about, BCA era, Crush, it looks exactly like Bryan Adams from WCW.
He had face tattoos, didn't he?
So?
Yeah, Bryan Adams didn't.
Right, back to the figure.
But yeah, it took me. I only found out. I think I was googling stuff to ask Adam Bomb, and then I was like, and then I clicked it, and I was like, oh god, of course, that makes sense now. So let's go back from carrying bones to walking down the ramp with holes.
I mean, I can imagine you thinking this is like a kid or something, because my kid memory thought Billy Kidman was the 1, 2, 3 kid. But
1, 2, 3 Kidman.
the thing when you don't have like a reference shot to look at them side by side, you know, you don't have the internet, you kind of think, oh, maybe it is him.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially the Smash Repo Man one. That took ages for me to find out as well.
I think I ever knew that one as a kid, to be honest.
Oh, calm down, Clouseau. Yeah, so on this figure, I think it's a lot of people like this figure for the very reason that it's toyetic. The hat being on doesn't bother me that much as it should. You hardly notice it when you're playing with it. I lost the bones quite a lot as a kid. The tattoos rubbed off. Apart from that, it's solid.
That's removable, you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Nah,
No.
I'm joking.
Oh,
I only
you
say
were
that
blaming.
because I only say that because I had the Elite version, and it felt as if the hat wasn't removable, and it took me forever to get it off. So at first I thought the Elite wasn't removable. Back to this. Oh, we've gone off so many tangents.
I'm talking about Michael Dubry next.
I really like this figure. It was very playable when I was younger, and like Jamie says, the hat. I don't like hats on the figures. This one, because it's tall rather than out, didn't get in the way. It wasn't noticeable. It's slightly the wrong build. He was a little bit bigger than that, but not as bad as Berserker that we've covered. It's very, very, very toyetic. It's decent for his shoulder breaker finish. The bones meant nothing to me because I never had them when I was a kid. I think they're slightly big for him, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, he's wearing the singlet right. He always wore it quite wide. So yeah, decent effort.
Yeah. Couldn't have put it better myself. What do you think of the tattoos? Are they Danhausen worthy or?
They look like an old fadey tattoos to me, so that's good. That's better because they were on him.
Like my dad's tattoos. He's got these very similar ones, but then he's also got the word Beano written halfway on his arm for some reason. My dad, not Papa Shango. I'm sure he's never read the Beano.
Is your dad also Karma Mustafa?
No, that's my mum.
Jamie hasn't made that link yet.
No. Wasn't he Chains? Gavin Denny has put 10. My favourite Hasbro figure. It's so unique to me. Unlike any other figure. Love the outfit. Love the tattoos. Love the bones. Should be handheld to me. Not round the neck, but each to their own. Love the hat. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think he liked it.
Yeah, he does. As much as that, I like had the hats like on. I think if they could have easily made it quite removable, if that makes sense, because he had you could just easily tear it off and on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I prefer it not to be in a weird way.
I don't know.
Just
Scores?
I'd lose it. You know what? It's a solid 9 for me.
Yeah, it's not far away from that. It's definitely not a 10 figure. It's not quite right in some areas, but yeah, 8.7.
It's 8.9 for me, and Legion has about 8.78.
Yeah, solid all round. Who's next?
It is Demolition Max. No, it's Repo Man.
Not Tiny Head himself.
Looks exactly like Demolition Smash for some reason.
It's the same head.
There he is as a jumper. I just don't think the action fits the character. But I do like the lightness of the face. I think it's pretty good. The back is very bland. There's nothing on the back much. But I'm not totally offended by it. It looks like him. It's unmistakable.
Yeah. And what even was his finishing move?
I couldn't tell you.
No, I don't know.
So I think when I was a kid, my only memory of him was the '92 Rumble. I think that was my only remembrance of him. I don't think he appeared any other time I would have watched. Was he? Oh, actually, no, he had a Mania match with Crush, didn't he?
No.
And that was another Mania 8.
SummerSlam 92, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, either way, I never saw him win.
No, never mind.
It's a bit of a lazy figure for me. There was no thought about the action, apart from the stripe detail down the middle, random little black lines here, there, and everywhere. That's not how it looked. It definitely had a lot more detail than that. Arguments about it coming with a jacket, coat. I do think Repo Man was always seen with that, so I do think that would have been a good accessory to put with Hasbro's. With this one and the tiny head. But like you say, it's not offensive. It does look like Repo Man. You know, it is a playable type of figure, so it's a bit crap, but it's okay.
I think if we got a coat with him, people will be saying that we need to get a rope with him. If we got a coat and a rope, people will be saying we need a tow truck with him or something. It's like so pleasing to some people.
Like Shotzi with the tanker.
Yeah.
I'm going to kick off a score because I think it's okay as it is and it looks fine. The head's fine. I'll give it 6.8.
It's a straight 6 for me.
A bit higher, I think. 6.9 for me. Only because I think what more could you have done? I think not making it a jumper. Clark Gilmore, on the other hand, has said, never liked this figure. Terrible move, boring looking attire, Popeye arms, and a horrible little head. Misunderstood my ass, preying on people's misery. That's linked to me saying that he was just doing a job, Repo Man. He wasn't a bad guy. Just pay your bills and you wouldn't come round.
Exactly.
If what can't pay will take it away, it's the same.
Did he leave a score?
Yeah.
Did he leave a score?
He left 4 out of 10.
Still not as low as I thought it was going to be.
But he's got a point, though. I mean, I saw you've got a point. He dresses as a robber. He acts like a robber, but he's actually a repossession man. They're not the same. A robber's not the same as a repo man.
It's not at all.
When I was looking into the research of this, by the way, if you search Repo Man debut attire, completely different. I've never seen it before. It's like a complete white outfit, full face mask. It's really interesting. I've never seen that Repo Man before.
Interesting.
Wonder why they dressed him up like a raccoon. Because let's say like bailiffs don't. Like if it was nowadays, you just wear a body cam and dress like Bull Buchanan when you team with the Boss Man.
Underrated superstar, but that's a different story.
That's a different. Yeah, it's good leg drop he had.
I think you'd need like a black trousers, black jumpsuit, or whatever you call it, bomber jacket.
Yeah, we'll do an episode where we'll do Queer Eye for the Straight Guy on wrestlers.
Well, I was thinking more for like Can't Pay, Take It Away. Those guys.
But it would be, yeah, it would be a crossover that you wanted. And we'll do another one with a Demolition Company with X and Slash. Sean Cold has put 7, but only because he's a big Demolition and Barry Darso fan.
We all are.
Not a reason.
The average score of Legion Hasbro is 5.89, so lower than all of our scores. As we move on to Jamie's favourite, it's Ric Flair.
Ooh.
Jamie, I know you love this, judging from what you wrote on Legion Hasbro page, so try and convince us.
Honestly, it's the only figure he doesn't have in his loft.
I tell you what, I've got how it's positioned. I've got him in front of Mr. Perfect with the BCA cameraman pointing at him, just reenacting the 92 Rumble with a tear in my eye. So yeah, I think it's special to me because it eluded me for all these years. I've always put it on a pedestal because of that. It's not bad. It's not as bad as everyone's making out it to be. The little RF on the pants makes sense. It's better than the Galoob, if we're honest. No one else will admit it. It's better than the Galoob.
It's not.
There's a couple of Galoobs, and one of them's better, at least. The blue one.
Nah.
Nah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that. I like it. You can have a little position where he's got someone in a headlock, give him a little punch in the head. I like it.
I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to be. So I'm kind of with you, but like you can't really say it's brilliant either. It was one of those figures that you really had to get at the time. Even I remember that. I thought even my older brother wasn't really into wrestling, really wanted a Ric Flair figure. So certainly want to get. It was just a shame that it kind of had this action which didn't really match Flair at all.
If I'm honest, if I could pick an action for him, I'd probably go with the Rick Martel, Shawn Michaels sort of body, Macho Man one.
Yeah, makes more sense, but you couldn't give everyone that, I guess.
No, I know, but it would make sense because you can fit another little leg through the middle bit, can't you, for the figure four? But in a way,
no.
Nothing about this figure screams world champion. I'd almost think it was a kind of rib, if I was honest, about Ric Flair. The only thing I enjoy about this figure is the maniacal look on the face. I actually quite like that side of Ric Flair in his interviews. So I think the figure kind of, although it doesn't look like him, it captured that a little bit, which I quite liked. Everything else about it is horrendous.
All right. Would you like to hear some of the Legion of Hasbro's absolute?
Some people would even leave a score. They just said nasty things and left.
Yeah.
Ben Stone put, never understood why they used the SNES Rumble game image as the face for the fig. So weird to give him a constipation face. Joseph Bowden's put, hated this figure when I was little. It was terrible to play with. Once again, neither of them would have to score. Jay Moore, he's put 16 out of 10. 1 for each title reign, minus 13 points for his eyebrows. 3 out of 10.
At least to give a score. Do not give any time to people that don't leave a score, Jimmy.
Well, they now know that they should leave a score.
Well, no, they don't, because you read their comments out.
Leave a score. Morgan Osgood has left a score. That score is 1. He's put 1, and it only gets 1 because it's Ric Flair. Terrible figure. That seems to be the... Kev Boot has put 2, awful figure. Let's just read the whole lot out, shall we? 3, 3, 2, 2.
Yeah, all right.
You get the gist of it.
The average score is 3.41.
Oh.
So someone must have scored it slightly better just to get over 3 by the sounds of it.
Let's just start making
Adam,
more
I want to hear Adam first.
Right, go on.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they said, to be honest. It is low, 3. Terrible.
Point.
Just 3.
Point.
Articulation.
0.
My pen's not working for this number.
Scratch it in.
I even need to just spit on the page, just in disgust for Ric Flair.
No, I'm sure me and Jamie could give it a lift it needs. You first, Jamie.
I've defended it to high heaven. But in reality, as I said, as I take the whole figures, you've got to take it in 2 parts. What's it like as a kid to play with? What's it like now as an adult to stand? And to play with is not great.
I think it's good to play with.
I hate this body type. I've never liked this body type. Just as an adult, it displays not great either, if I'm honest. If I'm taking out the fact of putting it on a pedestal, for me, I'm going to give it a straight 5.
So you talked it up and then give it a rubbish score.
I'm taking out the putting on a pedestal. As we said, you've got to take out of personal feelings towards a figure when you're marking it.
You don't really, because we've always took into consideration the the nostalgia and how we felt as a kid, and if we enjoyed playing with it as a kid.
I never had it as a kid.
Well, you know what I mean. And for that reason, I enjoyed having it as a kid. I felt special to get it when I was a kid, and I'm going to give it a 6.1.
Perfect.
Imagine giving it a 10. I don't think so. But yeah, 6.1, just to level it up a little bit.
That's an incredibly high score.
Thank you.
I think I enjoyed Sunny Delight as a kid. Now, as an adult, I don't like it as much. So some things you've got to take out of consideration, that your tastes are going to change.
Oh yeah, you're scoring it today, not 20 years ago. So absolutely.
Well,
anyway, let's move on. It is the last one of today. Is Tatanka.
Can I just ask something about this first? With me not being a Hasbro collector as an adult, when I was looking and researching on this figure, there was 2 different cards. Is there 2 different figures, 2 different series?
Is that exactly the same figure, 2 different series? They cancelled the Brutus Beefcake from Series 9.
Ah, right. But it's the same figure. I couldn't see a difference. That's why I'm asking.
Exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there you go.
Exactly the same. Just I think one's purple card and one's a blue one. They didn't even change one single bit on it.
I feel it's got a good level of detail. It's got earrings in the ears. The hair is done quite well with the red streak on the top and tassels on the boots. Obviously, it's just Texas Tornado body, but it works well for Tatanka because he wore that sort of thing. The only thing missing is maybe I don't know what you'd call it, a
little bum bag thing.
And
I know what you mean. It's a little, not a muff. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a little
then
badge.
You may have a near perfect figure had he had that bit.
You've got the face though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have a near perfect figure with that face.
But the face is good.
Oh no, looks not like him.
The actions are sort of, I sort of get and don't get the action. Because he had that little thing where he was like his version of hulking up, didn't he? Where he'd like do the chops and stuff and tomahawk chops. Yeah. So it sort of works for that if you move the arms inwards, which I quite like.
You could do a small drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. I think as a figure, I really enjoyed it as a kid. As an adult, I think it displays really well. I agree that it's missing the little flap at the front, but I didn't really notice that much. I don't really care that much as an adult.
I kind of only just noticed that when I was talking about it now. So I exactly know what you mean.
I can definitely let him off for that as well because I love the blue colour on this figure. I think it's one of the best colours on any Hasbro. It's really detailed. That was pretty much all I was going to say, but you've covered that. The face is bad. I don't think the face looks anything like him.
I disagree. I think it's on par with the Hasbro technology at the time. On par with any other face that you consider good for Hasbro, if that makes sense.
I think they made his face toyetic, I think.
I'm not going to mark it like really far down for that because it is a quality figure and I love that action for a figure.
Yep.
I'll kick off the scores with a straight 8.
All right. Adam?
I was going to go slightly under that, so 7.7.
It is 8.2 from me and 7.62 from Legion Hasbro. And can you hear some comments from that?
We can. Paul Montgomery has put, good one. Although I always felt it was a bit too shredded. Would have been better with a Duggan/Berserker torso. With good likeness and good to play with. 7 out of 10.
Yep. I have to redesign the whole figure to do that, though.
Tatanka did go through the range, though. If you watch him in his years in WWE, he's very different in every kind of year that he's in there. He's got a pot belly sometimes, he's shredded another time. So he couldn't really go right in that one.
Phil Rapley has put Series 9 one is better. And then it's ranked at 6 out of 10. And Daniel Radcliffe has just given it a straight 10. I think he's quite a Tatanka fan.
Yes, I think he is. Well, that rounds it out.
What way to finish on Tatanka? Also, just to clarify, we won't be doing the Series 9 Tatanka because there'd be no point in doing the series.
Purple colour, though.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. But yeah, no, there's no point in doing that, is there? Boys, let's look ahead at Series 7 in a few weeks' time. Actually, we'll have a look at that for the next episode, shall we?
Yeah. Do you want to know who's in it?
Why not?
Well, it's the first time I haven't wrote them down, but I'll take a look to my left. It is Corner Crush, Kamala, Nails, Owen Hart, Razor Ramon, and Shawn Michaels.
What a series.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's... Well, we're going to talk about it on the next episode, but as a little sneak peek, I think they're my favourite cards, the backing cards in the Yellow Series.
Oh, yeah. I've actually got 2 of these on card.
You have, from the King of the Quiz. So you got Kamala and Crush.
That's right.
Cracking cards. Boys, well, Johnny, thanks for your time.
Oh, yeah.
And for your scores. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Adam, thank you as well for your time.
I will not be the Kool-Aid man and just say bye.
There's anything cool about you. See you guys in a bit. All the best.